Hi, I'm Meredith Curtis.
Hi, I'm Laura Nolette.
And we're from Powerline Productions. And today we're going to talk about Thanksgiving.
The first Thanksgiving.
The first Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
We really love big family dinners. And we both, our families have had many holidays shared together over the years. Now our families are pretty big themselves because our kids are getting married, they have children. And but Thanksgiving is a really special day to me, and I love the story of the first Thanksgiving because the pilgrims who were devoted to Jesus and wanted to honor him and serve him and live out their Christian life the way they saw it in the scriptures, they were really a local church, and they came over with some other Christians, Puritans, on the Mayflower. And after a really rough voyage, they landed at the beginning of winter. And that first winter, it was a really, really hard one. And a lot of the people who came over died. And rather than be sorrowful, they found their strength in the Lord. And they met an amazing Indian friend named Squanto, who actually was also a Christian and had an amazing adventure story that is for another video. But he ended up helping them to plant corn the Indian way. And so they began to plant corn and other crops, and come harvest time in around November, they had a big crop, and the starvation, the sickness, all of that was gone, and they were healthy and they were happy. And so what did people do when they're healthy and happy? They said, let's have a big, big feast. So by now they had built friendships with some nearby Native American tribes, and so they invited them, and they all brought food. They provided food. The Native Americans brought food. They had games for 3 days, games that were similar to football. So, hey moms, football is Thanksgiving-ish. And running races. And they had times of worship and prayer. So it's just a very festive, amazing, amazing holiday.
It was a great time, and it's something to keep in mind. She said, what do you do when you're happy and healthy and the crops come in, you celebrate? And that's been something that people have done from the beginning of time. And God even instituted feasts in the Bible. He commanded his children to have feasts to remember the great things that he has done. And that's never ended. And so today, when we hear people that are trying to tell us that the original Thanksgiving was an Indian tradition, an Indian feast, be very careful about believing what those people say. This was not an Indian feast. The Indians did come and they did contribute, but this was a very devout, Christ-loving community that were celebrating the gifts of God, what God did through these Indian friends to bless them. And that's what Thanksgiving is about. Now, the Indians introduced them to some really amazing foods that they weren't used to getting in England. The corn that they taught them how to grow was not an English crop, and so learning to eat and use that corn and to make different corn dishes, they learned from the Indians. And turkey, American turkey, is different than the birds that they can get in England. Right. So learning to cook up a big fat turkey for a feast was a new skill that they got to learn. And we have potatoes and sweet potatoes, yams, and I'm trying to think of some of the other things we had. Now, the food is a lot different than what we serve today because spices are so much easier to get a hold of today from across the world. So their pumpkin pie probably didn't taste like my pumpkin pie. And the different dishes they made didn't taste exactly the same as what we are used to. They're probably sweetened differently with different products, different plants than we use today. And what's really fun is to go on a research project and find copies online of those old cookbooks. They're out there. You just have to look for them and find out how did they actually make these different dishes.
Yes.
200 or 600 or whatever, 400 years. How many years ago was the first Thanksgiving? That was 1600s, 400 years ago. So for some reason I had 600 stuck in my head and I knew that was wrong. So I'm a math person, not a numbers person. And so, but we look at the original Thanksgiving, it always has been about praising God and thanking Him for His gifts from the whole year. And then it's filled with great American foods.
And one thing that we do at our house is to continue that tradition of praising God is when I was growing up, we always went to church, but in our family, her son is married to my daughter, and they host a praise breakfast. And so we go over there and we worship and pray and praise. And it's really a fun kind of time and a great way to remember what Thanksgiving is all about. If you're coming to Thanksgiving this year and you want to make your Thanksgiving more special, then we really encourage you to pick up this book. You can get it at powerlineprod.com. And you can also purchase it on Amazon. Celebrate Thanksgiving by me, Meredith Curtis. And this has recipes, decoration ideas, craft fun things you can do with your children, and of course the story of the first Thanksgiving and a bunch of other things you may not know about Thanksgiving, like the Macy's State Parade and things like that. So celebrate Thanksgiving. And from our families to yours, we wish you a very happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. God bless you. Thank you for joining us.